Are there aliens in Area 51?
What really happened in Roswell? Something did happen in Roswell. And to discover what happened in Roswell, you need to look at what was going on in 1947. And when you understand the context of that, you can understand more about Roswell. In 1947, World War II had just ended. There was massive Russian aggression in Europe. They were trying to take bigger and bigger parts of Europe. There was fear of a nuclear war between the United States and what would become the Soviet Union. They had the bomb, both of them had the bomb, but nobody had a nuclear bomb delivery system. Well, the German Nazis had a nuclear bomb delivery system called the Horten Flying Wing. It was a jet. Its wings were made of plywood with charcoal kind of infused into the glue that held the plywood together. And that charcoal would absorb the electronic pulses from the radar, so much so that it was almost invisible on radar. It had two jet engines, wooden wings, would go 600 miles an hour. We didn't have anything that could go that fast. We couldn't touch it, we couldn't see it. The Nazis' goal was to drop a nuclear bomb on New York City. This was the first stealth aircraft developed by the Nazis. And so our goal, our aim, was to get that secret technology to the United States. Our aim was to recruit their scientists and bring them to the United States. After we got the technology and the scientists, we sent them to two areas. Area 51 near Roswell, and we also sent them and the technology to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. The Horten Flying Wing, according to everyone, would become the B-2 bomber. Now, the Horten Flying Wing was extremely difficult to fly. Horten 1 crashed, Horten 3 crashed, Horten 5 crashed. So many people died testing these things, and these guys were expert pilots with thousands of hours of flight time in combat. And they died flying and crashing the Horten Flying Wing. Now, if the experts had such a difficult time, could a government committee get it right the first time with no blueprints? Do you think that would happen? No. What are the chances, out of millions of small towns around the world, what are the chances that the aliens would crash exactly where we're testing the secret flying wing? I don't think that would happen. There was a crash. Eyewitnesses drew diagrams, and they drew diagrams that looked like the Horten Flying Wing. It did not look like a round disc alien craft. It looked like the Horten Flying Wing. Model builders built plastic models. That was a big rage back then. It wasn't an alien disc. It was in the shape of a Horten Flying Wing. The crash debris after the crash was transported to where they were testing the Horten Flying Wing. Area 51 near Roswell and the Wright-Patterson base in Dayton, Ohio. Immediately after the Roswell crash, there was a hunt, a massive manhunt for the Horten brothers who designed the originals. That manhunt was second only to the search for the German nuclear scientists. We needed the nuclear bomb. We needed the Horten Flying Wing nuclear bomb delivery system. And so the search was on to find these guys. Roswell, the Roswell crash, is a Horten Flying Wing crash site. Well, what about the bodies? There were supposed to be alien bodies there. What about the Alien Autopsy movie? Well, the movie, the Alien Autopsy movie, was a fake. We now know that a guy named John Humphreys did the special effects for that movie. He also played the surgeon in the suit. And the real Roswell bodies were actually human burn victims, sadly. Their bodies were blackened. Their hair was burned off. There was not much of the nose left. There was not much of the ears left, exactly what would happen in an intense burning situation. But why are the bodies so short? To figure that out, we look at the Dresden bombing, one of the worst bombings during World War II when Dresden, Germany was bombed. It started kind of a rare phenomenon called a firestorm. That bombing was so intense that the heat that the bombing created actually generated its own wind and created a firestorm, kind of like a tornado fire. In the hotter parts of that firestorm, the human bodies were literally vaporized into nothing. That's how hot it was. In the cooler parts of the firestorm, it is said that the adults shrunk to the size of small children. Why? Because our bodies are 70% water.